Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. This time, we're going to be diving deep into something pretty incredible, the Connect project.
Yeah, this one's really interesting.
So to give everyone a bit of a roadmap, we're going to try to figure out exactly what Connect is, who's involved, and how it fits into Europe's master plan for electronics and those kinds of things.
Right.
And to do that, we've got three main sources: a brand new press release announcing a partnership, the project's own outline that they submitted for funding, and a big report called the ECS Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda for 2024.
Sounds good.
I'm really excited to dig into this one. I think it's going to be pretty groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, what's really cool about this project is that they're trying to take something super complex, like monitoring brain activity, and make it easy to use and affordable for just about anyone.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this Connect project all about?
Well, CONNECT stands for Cognitive and Neurological Network EEG Cloud Technology.
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. But basically, it's all about changing how we monitor brain activity, especially for people with epilepsy.
So think like those epilepsy monitoring units you see in hospitals.
Kind of. But instead of those big clunky machines, CONNECT uses something called low-channel EEG. It's like a simpler, more accessible version that can be used anywhere.
So people can wear it at home.
Exactly. And the really innovative part is that all of this EEG data gets sent up to the cloud, where these machine learning algorithms analyze all the brainwave patterns.
Algorithms.
Yeah, like computer programs that are trained to spot anything unusual, like signs of a seizure coming on.
That's pretty wild. So it's combining these simpler EEG devices with the power of the cloud and artificial intelligence.
Right.
What kind of impact could this have on someone with epilepsy, for example?
Oh, it could be huge. You see, for people with epilepsy, having constant monitoring can be really important, but it's also really inconvenient and expensive. Connect aims to make it way more affordable and less intrusive, especially for people who need to be monitored at home. One of their big goals is to reduce the power consumption of those portable EEG systems by like 30%.
30%. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, it means people can wear the devices for much longer periods without having to constantly recharge them. Makes things a lot easier.
Definitely. So who are the masterminds behind all this? Who are the key players in the Connect project?
Well, from the press release we have, it looks like the main collaborators are a UK company called B-Spatial and a Portuguese company called Thola.
Interesting. So it's a truly international effort.
Yeah, for sure. And they're really pushing for even more collaboration. The press release even includes contact info for anyone interested in joining the party, so to speak. Ben Sequeira from B-Spatial and Sergio Silva from Thola are the guys to talk to if you're interested.
Awesome. It's not just about building the tech, it's about building a community around it.
Exactly.
But it seems like there's more to this story than just these two companies, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you look at the project outline, it mentions B-Spatial's own Metapi platform as a key component. It sounds like this platform is where all the data processing and machine learning magic happens.
Metapi, we should definitely dig into that a little more later.
Definitely.
And the outline mentions other partners involved in manufacturing, machine learning, and actually getting this tech into healthcare settings. So it's clearly a pretty big team effort.
For sure, a lot of expertise coming together.
Now, how does this Connect project fit into the bigger picture of what Europe is trying to achieve technologically?
Right. Well, there's this report we mentioned, the ECS Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda for 2024, or ECS SRIA 2024 for short.
Okay.
Basically, it lays out the plan for how Europe wants to advance in electronics and all those related fields.
So where does Connect fit in?
Well, one of the big focus areas in the report is advancing healthcare tech, specifically things like digital health and remote monitoring. And Connect just slots right into that, offering a real-world solution to a very real problem.
So it's not just about fancy tech for the sake of it. It's about actually using it to solve real-world problems.
Yeah, exactly. And what I find really interesting is that the ECS SRIA 2024 also talks about this growing need for better ways to assess working memory.
Working memory?
Yeah, the kind of memory we use to hold information in mind while we're working on a task. And the report says that there's a need for better assessments of working memory, not just in healthcare, but also in education and mental health.
I see.
And Connect's technology could actually help us understand working memory a lot better, since it can monitor brain activity in real time.
Wow. So Connect could have implications far beyond just epilepsy.
Oh, definitely. It could really open up a whole new world of understanding how our brains work.
That's pretty amazing. So tell me a bit more about this B-Spatial, the company behind the software and all the cloud stuff for Connect. What makes them so special for this project?
Well, they're experts in data processing, machine learning, and cloud infrastructure, which are all pretty crucial for making Connect work. Think of it this way. Their MetaP platform is like a super smart translator. It takes all the raw data from the EEG devices, cleans it up, and then feeds it to these powerful machine learning algorithms that can actually understand what those brain waves mean.
So B-Spatial isn't just collecting data, they're making sense of it.
Exactly. And they're really motivated to be at the forefront of this whole remote neurological care thing, which is growing super fast. Just imagine being able to monitor patients in their homes, no matter where they are.
That would be incredible, especially for people who can't easily get to healthcare facilities or need constant monitoring. So it's like science fiction coming to life.
It really is. And they don't even see this technology limited to healthcare. They're also talking about using it in safety critical jobs, like where being able to monitor someone's cognitive state is really important.
Wow, so this could impact so many different industries and professions.
Absolutely. The potential is really vast.
Yeah. But let's get back to the team for a second. We know B-Spatial is in the UK and Thala is in Portugal. But the project outline mentions a whole group of partners involved in Connect.
Oh, yeah. It's like a whole league of experts. You've got manufacturers who are building the actual EEG hardware and cloud data specialists who are managing all that data. Plus, there are machine learning wizards working on those algorithms and, of course, healthcare professionals who will actually be using this tech with patients.
So it's not just one brilliant mind, it's a whole bunch of them coming together.
Exactly. It's a real team effort. And what I find impressive is that Connect doesn't just have these big, lofty goals. They've got really specific and measurable targets they're aiming for.
Okay, like what?
Well, we already talked about their goal to reduce power consumption by 30%, but they're also shooting for a big improvement in how accurately they can detect seizures. They want to reduce false alarms by 25%.
That's huge.
Right. I mean, false alarms can be super stressful for patients and their families.
For sure. So how are they planning to do that?
They're refining their machine learning algorithms through all that cloud processing power. Basically, they're making the system smarter and more reliable.
So they're really focused on making a real difference for people.
Absolutely. They're committed to making this technology actually work for patients and healthcare providers.
It's pretty inspiring to see that kind of dedication.
I agree. It's like they're saying, hey, tech isn't just about gadgets, it's about making the world a better place.
I like that. I'm totally on board with the Connect revolution.
Me too. I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Connect and projects like it in the years to come. It feels like we're at the beginning of a whole new wave of healthcare innovation.
I'm excited to see where it goes. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back to Thola for a minute, B-Spatial's partner in Portugal. We know they're important, but the press release doesn't really say what they do.
Yeah, it's a little vague there. But it does encourage people who want to partner with them to reach out to a guy named Sergio Silva at Thola. So it seems like they might be playing a big role in bringing different partners together, maybe even setting up pilot programs for the Connect system.
So they're like the glue that holds everything together, making sure all these different groups can work together smoothly.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to think about it. And with all this emphasis on international collaboration, their role could be really crucial for Connect to actually succeed.
It makes you realize how important it is to have a team that can handle all the challenges of working across different countries and cultures. But before we move on, I want to go back to that ECS Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda report for a second. We talked about how Connect fits in with their focus on healthcare tech, but there was another interesting point you mentioned that I wanted to revisit.
You mean the part about the limitations of traditional ways to assess working memory?
Yes. You were saying how those methods are usually limited to clinical settings and can't really capture what's happening in real time. Makes it tough to study working memory in everyday life.
Exactly. And that's where Connect's potential goes way beyond just epilepsy. If we can monitor brain activity continuously in real time, we can gain a much deeper understanding of how working memory functions in all kinds of situations.
It's like opening up a whole new window into the human brain. We can actually see how it works in the real world.
Exactly. Imagine what that could mean for education. We could personalize teaching based on each student's cognitive strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
We could see how much mental effort they're putting in during a lesson. We could even spot potential learning difficulties early on.
That's incredible. It takes personalized learning to a whole new level.
And think about the possibilities in mental health. We could use Connect to track how someone's brain is responding during therapy, see if a new treatment is working.
It could really change how we approach mental health care.
And it's not just about understanding, it's about application. We could use this knowledge to enhance human performance in all sorts of fields. Think athletes, artists, even astronauts.
Wow, my mind is officially blown. This is amazing.
That's the power of innovation, right? It sparks our imagination and opens up all these new possibilities.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground here today. We've learned what Connect is, who's involved, and how it fits into the bigger picture of European tech and healthcare.
We've seen how this project, led by B-Spatial and Thola, is on track to revolutionize how we monitor brain activity, especially for epilepsy. And we've talked about how it aligns perfectly with Europe's vision for a future where technology makes people's lives better.
And we've only just scratched the surface of how this technology could change our understanding of the human brain. It's an exciting time to be alive, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And as we've seen with Connect, innovation really thrives on collaboration and sharing knowledge. So I'll leave you with this thought. How could you contribute to this field? What skills, ideas, or perspectives could you bring to the table? The future is waiting to be shaped, and it all starts with asking the right questions and daring to dream big.
I love that. That's a great way to end this part of our deep dive. So to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey. Keep those brains buzzing, and we'll catch you in the next part of our Connect deep dive.
You know, one thing that really strikes me about Connect is that it's not just about fancy tech. It's about actually making life better for patients.
Totally. It's easy to get caught up in all the bells and whistles, but at the end of the day, it's got to make a real difference.
Exactly. And that brings us back to that idea of making monitoring more accessible and less of a hassle.
Right. We talked about how they want to reduce power consumption, but what else are they doing to make this tech more patient-friendly?
Well, they actually talk about that in the project outline. They're really focusing on miniaturizing the hardware, making it as small and comfortable as possible.
So it's not some big clunky thing you got to wear.
No, ideally it'll be so tiny you hardly notice it.
That would be amazing.
And they're working on user-friendly software too, so patients can easily track their data, share it with their doctors, and even set up custom alerts.
So it's about giving patients more control, making it easier for them to manage their own health.
Exactly. And that empowerment extends to healthcare professionals, too. Imagine a doctor being able to see their patient's brain activity in real time, right there in their electronic health records.
That would be revolutionary for diagnosis and treatment.
Totally. It could lead to earlier interventions, maybe even preventing seizures before they happen. And doctors could fine-tune medications and therapies way more effectively.
It's a win-win for everyone involved.
Absolutely. And remember how the ECS SRIA 2024 report talked about the need for better working memory assessments?
Yeah, that was really interesting. It seems like such an important area that often gets overlooked.
Well, think about using Connect's tech to actually see what's happening in a student's brain while they're learning, or to track the effectiveness of a new therapy for someone with anxiety.
It opens up so many possibilities for understanding and supporting cognitive function.
It all comes back to that idea of making complex technology easy to use so it can actually make a difference in people's lives.
I'm really impressed with how much thought they're putting into the human side of this technology.
Me too. It speaks to the collaborative spirit behind the whole project.
Speaking of collaboration, I'd love to hear more about how all these different partners are working together. You've got hardware experts, cloud data specialists, machine learning gurus, healthcare professionals.
It's like a well-oiled machine, each part working in sync.
So B-Spatial is leading the software development, but who's actually making the EEG devices?
They've got partners specializing in miniaturized electronics and sensors. They're working hand in hand with B-Spatial to make sure the hardware is top-notch, comfortable, and easy to use.
And what about the cloud data folks? They must have their hands full with all the data these devices are generating.
Oh, yeah. They're building a secure and super scalable cloud infrastructure to handle the constant stream of data coming in from potentially thousands of users.
That's a mind-boggling amount of data.
It is, but that's where the power of cloud computing really shines. It allows for all that data to be processed and analyzed in real time, which is crucial for Connect to work.
And we can't forget the machine learning experts, those algorithm whisperers.
Right. They're the ones training the algorithms to accurately pick out patterns and anomalies in all that brainwave data.
It's a fascinating blend of technology and human expertise.
It really is. And the coolest part is that Connect is designed to be flexible and scalable. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a platform that can be tailored and expanded to meet all kinds of different needs.
So we're not just looking at a single project, but a whole new approach to personalized cognitive monitoring.
Exactly. It'll be exciting to see how it evolves in the years to come and how it helps us understand and support brain health even better.
Okay, before we get too lost in the future, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. Connect being used in safety-critical environments. I can't get that out of my head.
It is pretty fascinating, isn't it? Imagine monitoring a pilot's brain activity during a long flight, or an air traffic controller in a busy airspace.
Or a surgeon in the middle of a complex operation.
Exactly. But we have to remember, this is still new territory. There are and it all starts with projects like Connect, pushing the boundaries and leading the way toward a future where we truly understand and can support the amazing power of the human brain.
Well said. I can't wait to see how this all plays out. But I think it's time to shift gears a little and focus on the heart of Connect, that Metapy platform developed by B-Spatial.
Good idea. Metapy is really the brain behind the whole thing. It takes all that raw brainwave data and turns it into something meaningful.
Okay, break it down for me. What exactly does Metapy do, and how does it work?
Think of Metapy as a maestro conducting an orchestra. It takes all that raw brainwave data from those EEG devices and cleans it up, gets it ready for the machine learning algorithms to analyze.
So it's like a data filter, making sure the raw material is pure before it's used.
That's a good way to put it. Metapy does a few key things. First, it filters out any noise or artifacts in the EEG signals to make sure the data is accurate. Then it breaks the data down into chunks, looking for specific brainwave patterns that tell us about different cognitive states.
So it's not just storing data, it's interpreting it.
Exactly. And finally, it feeds all that processed data to those machine learning algorithms, which are trained to recognize certain patterns and red flags, like the signs of a seizure.
It sounds super complex, but also really elegant.
It is. And one of the coolest things about Metapy is that it's constantly learning and adapting. As more data comes in, the algorithms get refined and updated, which makes the whole system more accurate over time.
It's like it's getting smarter as it goes.
That's exactly it. It's not a static solution. It's a dynamic tool that evolves as our understanding of the brain grows.
I'm curious about the people behind Metapy. What kind of expertise went into building something so sophisticated?
Well, the project outline talks about B-Spatial's deep knowledge of data processing, machine learning, and cloud computing. They've got a team of brilliant engineers and scientists who are passionate about using technology to make a real difference.
They sound like the perfect team for this challenge.
They really do. And their vision for Metapy goes far beyond just epilepsy monitoring. They see it as a platform that can unlock a deeper understanding of the brain with potential applications in everything from healthcare to education to even enhancing human performance.
That's incredibly ambitious. I can't wait to see what they come up with as this technology continues to develop.
It's an exciting time to be working in this field. And it all comes back to collaboration, innovation, and a desire to make the world a better place.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to pause and give our listeners a moment to catch their breath. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, but we're not done yet. There's still more to explore in the world of Connect.
And we're back with a deep dive, continuing our exploration of the Connect project and its potential to change how we approach brain monitoring and cognitive health.
It's been a wild ride so far, huh? From low-channel EEG to cloud computing to these super smart algorithms, it feels like we're on the cusp of a whole new era.
It really does. Before the break, we were talking about Metapy, that platform developed by B-Spatial that's like the brains of the whole operation.
Yeah, Metapy is the one that takes all that raw brainwave data and turns it into something we can actually use.
So we've talked about its role in detecting seizures, but what other cool things could Metapy do? Like, how could it actually improve people's lives?
Well, one area where I think it could have a huge impact is in personalized learning. Imagine a classroom where we can actually see how each student's brain is responding to the lesson in real time.
Like, we could see how much mental effort they're putting in.
Exactly. Teachers could tailor their instruction based on each student's individual needs. Those who are struggling could get extra support, and those who are breezing through could be given more challenging material.
It would make learning so much more effective and engaging.
Right, and think about the possibilities in mental health. Metapy could be used to track how someone's brain is responding during therapy.
So therapists could get real-time feedback on how their patient is feeling and adjust their approach accordingly.
Exactly. It could also be used to create personalized relaxation techniques or mindfulness exercises tailored to an individual's unique brainwave patterns.
That's amazing. It really feels like we're on the verge of a major breakthrough in mental health care.
I think so too.
Now, we spent a lot of time talking about B-Spatial, but I'm still curious about their partner, Thola. The press release doesn't say much about what they specifically do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery, but remember how they encouraged people to contact Sergio Silva at Thola if they're interested in collaborating? That makes me think they might be playing a big role in coordinating partnerships and setting up pilot programs for the Connect system.
So they're like the masterminds behind the scenes, making sure everyone is working together smoothly.
Yeah, maybe something like that. And with all this emphasis on international collaboration, their expertise in handling cross-border partnerships could be crucial for Connect to actually succeed.
It really highlights how important teamwork is for innovation, especially when you're dealing with complex projects like this.
Definitely. You need people who can navigate different cultures and ways of working.
But before we wrap up, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind throughout this whole conversation. We've talked about all the amazing potential of Connect, but what about the ethical side of things? Monitoring brain activity raises some big questions about privacy and data security.
That's a really important point. We have to make sure this technology is used responsibly.
Exactly. How can we ensure that people's privacy is protected and that this data isn't misused?
Well, the project outline does address those concerns. They talk about their commitment to data security and privacy. They're planning to use strong encryption and strict protocols for storing and accessing the data.
So they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, they seem to be. But it's an ongoing conversation for sure. As this technology develops, we need to keep having open and honest discussions about the ethical implications. People need to understand how their data is being used and have a say in how this technology shapes our future.
It's a shared responsibility. We all need to be part of this conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up our deep dive into the Connect project. We've covered a lot of ground today. We learned what Connect is, who's involved, and how it fits into Europe's vision for a tech-driven future.
We explored the potential benefits for people with epilepsy, but also the broader possibilities for understanding and supporting brain health in general, from personalized learning to mental health care and beyond.
And we touched on the importance of responsible innovation and the ethical considerations that come with any technology that deals with such sensitive data.
It's clear that Connect is a project with enormous potential, and it's exciting to see how it will unfold in the coming years. It really feels like we're on the brink of something truly revolutionary.
I couldn't agree more. So to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. Keep those brains buzzing. And remember, the future is what we make it.
Well said. Stay curious, everyone.